Good evening, and this is Module 1 for EDL 851, and my name is Michael Graham. A little bit about me. I am from Hayesville, Kansas originally. I teach at Hayesville Middle School, and I'm the head soccer coach at our rival school, Hayesville West. Graduated from Bethel College with a bachelor's degree in history, and from WSU with a bachelor's degree in education. I currently love soccer, love playing it. I am the man pictured there in the green. I play goalkeeper, the kind of crazy position in the game, and am currently recording this a lot earlier than normal, as I am actually slated to leave to go out of town to play in the very tournament that I took this picture at in last year. So hopefully I'll come back without any injuries. I am married, father with 3 human children. They are pictured there behind me, actually in a different state at that point. And my wife Tasha is there to my left. Yes, that is blue and red hair. I did have a blue and red mullet for the majority of the summer and have actually since cut it off to try and look professional. I have a lot of animals there, as you can see. We are up to 6 cats, 3 dogs. We did lose our oldest, Pele. But to be honest, I just don't have the heart to take her off this presentation because she's still with me. And this picture was, of course, taken straddling the Missouri River, as my children were in Iowa at the time, and I was in Nebraska at the time as we were up there for my son's soccer tournament. So on to the information about supervision of personnel. My understanding, as it was supporting improvement, was SIC evaluations as done to help us improve as professionals in the classroom. They are a way in which gain from the evaluation comes down to the relationship mainly between the evaluator and the evaluatee. If you do not respect the person who is being evaluated, or in general, if the person who is being evaluated does not have respect for the person who is doing the evaluating, it makes it very difficult to gain anything. It's all about mutual respect and kind of go back and forth as I see it. Just basically how I see it, cut and dry. Teacher evaluations, though, according to the article at this time, have become largely a rubber stamp with a little insight into the actual effectiveness of their performance. And I can agree to that. I have seen many of teachers do a terrible job 9 days out of 10 in the classroom in terms of behaviors, in terms of the knowledge that they're coming across. And we all know that one teacher who just hands out worksheets or has the kids read from the book. But it's amazing when they get evaluated, they have an interactive lesson planned and they do this and they do that. I think the non-spontaneous nature that evaluations have become leads to a lack of improvement because we're not being honest with ourselves as teachers and educators. Retention is vital for schools. Without keeping people working, we don't have people to work. Retention is becoming a big issue in today's society because burnout is at an all-time high. I remember seeing quite often that within the first 5 years, a ton of teachers leave the field. And honestly, I think that number is only going to grow with the way COVID and the social media environment has become for teachers now. I don't know how it works in your town, but we have a wonderful Facebook page here in Hayesville called Hayesville Happenings, where staff members, students, schools, everybody, people like to go on there and gossip and run their mouths about how horrible the teachers are, especially at my school, and they do like to tear us down. So it makes for a very, very difficult environment to work in sometimes. But the readings did kind of point out to 3 main areas that as an educator who is trying to help keep your staff in business or keep your staff members there at your business, for lack of a better word, falls into 3 categories: money, making sure they're paid well enough, and at a competitive salary amongst those districts around you, because if you're well below a competitive salary, you're going to lose people quite often. Involvement, give them an opportunity to add their 2 cents in, if you will. Let them be involved in what's going on. And of course, the opportunity for growth. They need to be able to evolve as educators. Our district does a great job with that. We have our own learning center where basically we can take any professional development class that's offered there for free of charge for all of our staff members. If you want to make it for graduate credit, of course, you can, but for the most part, it's all there for that. I just participated in one of those this morning with CPR training. Learning. Evaluations are a great way to help staff and supervisors connect and to learn from each other. I know that I can learn just as much from my evaluator as they can learn from me. and that only happens with a back and forth. Given the opportunity to role play and practice skills according to the articles, learning face-to-face learning, it's possible for a greater difference between methods of delivery to be evident for more behavioral outcomes. So basically what that means is if we're being evaluated, we have that more like face-to-face conversation rather than like evaluations I used to get in the past, which was the administrator comes in, they sit in the back of the room, they do a little typey type on their computer, they hit send, and they walk out the room. And you get this detailed email of saying they saw this, they saw that, they saw this, they saw this, and you move forward without really a chance to do face-to-face. My last two evaluations here where I work actually were, hey, come down this day on your plan time. I was in your room. We evaluated some things. Let's talk about what I saw, what we can work on. And honestly, that face-to-face did a lot more for learning what I struggle with in class. Well-being. Oh, Lordy. I don't think I have enough time to discuss the importance of well-being and especially evaluations in a 15-minute video, to be honest with you, especially with our current climate. The exchange of information in a supervised classroom visit really can help with well-being. Honestly, the biggest thing that's helped me in the last couple of years is I have a very caring administration in terms of me personally. They will come in, they'll check on you, they will kind of sit down with you and make sure that you're happy, you're okay, that what's going on in your personal life. They do like to, at least at my school, connect with me and the staff members personally so that they know that they're more than just a boss, that yes, there's that boundary for sure. But we don't feel like we're on an island, which is great. So according to the articles, we saw that respondents said the regular supervision separate from line management, which would be just your standing over markers, you make sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to do. And one-on-one or in small groups might help manage the emotional impact of work and feel supported. Kind of what I discussed, like one-on-one interactions, small group interactions with certain staff members or teams. We have weekly team meetings where one of our administrators sits in on that and has discussions with us. It's a huge help. I don't really ever feel like I'm on an island and alone, which is great. And manager confidence to discuss mental health issues with employees is a key predictor to changing behaviors. I'll be honest, mental health is something we talk about quite frequently, especially this year. We talked about it a lot, almost to the point that I think something needs to be said about the fact that teachers are take time and unwind. And, if you're not taking time for yourself, then, you need to. It's kind of starting to be used as against us, but that's for another day. Standard correlation. Ooh, you get a little bit of overlap with my video. I do apologize. Try and move it. How did the articles increase my knowledge in the following? Improvement really helped me improve my understanding on where that there's more to improvement in just terms of nuts and bolts and pedagogy in the classroom. Retention, these articles, to be honest, didn't really make any impact in terms of how aware I am of the need for retention. It did give me great information on how to, at an administration level, improve retention in my schools and some ideas to try. Learning, of course, these articles did kind of drive home the importance of learning from those evaluations. And well-being, of course, drove home the mental point, especially in a COVID-based classroom, on how important mental health is becoming in the classroom. And my relevance and reflection, of course, these articles supported the importance the supervisor can have on the role of education and the success of the building by basically being directed and helping with our mental well-being. And, if the teacher's happy teacher, happy students. Happy students learn more and, of course, get better test scores, which then in turn into more money for most districts. So there you go. The concepts witnesses educator really kind of were coming into the mental health, especially, is where I really kind of drew to what's going on in the current time period. And of course, how this activity will improve my future educational leadership skills. I really feel like it kind of drives home the importance of how to introduce myself to my staff, as well as making sure that I'm evaluating my staff and taking time to keep in focus those 4 areas of importance we discussed earlier on in the video. I'd like to thank you all for your time. My bibliography page is here and here. And I look forward to watching all of your introduction videos, and I will sign off for now. Have a great night.